Well, everyone, today is Saturday, June 7th, 2020. Welcome to our Contract Trust Conference call. We are accountants, tax professionals, lawyers, or currency dealers. We are not engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional advice. Should you require those services, you should retain competent advice from a professional in that field. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Carol Werelius, and my associate Jim Knox and I have these calls every second and fourth Saturday of the month. These calls are recorded and available on our website, www.indicatorinformation.com, iqdcalls.com, and YouTube. As we get closer and closer to our expected RV, we thought this would be a good time to review our common law contract trust and why we think it is the best vehicle for you to protect your assets. As always, your questions are welcome. Star 6 to raise your hand. And before I get started, we do have a question. Okay, there you are.
Hey, Jim, I talked to Carol about this. I had purchased 3 trusts that I was going to be one personal for that I would be in control, one for my daughter, and then one that my grandchildren, which I was a executive trustee on that. So under the circumstances that I can't go get can't afford a management trust right now, could I convert one of those, the one that I was going to give to my daughter, convert that? Carol said there's probably a minute there that I could convert that into the management trust.
Yeah, hold on a second. I got to kill my other phone. I don't know why it's ringing. I thought I killed it. Yeah, we can do that. I can set that up. I just need to know the names of the trust, so you can email me when you get off here the names of the trust, how you want that set up, and I can do that and ship it out to you. It won't be perfect, but it'll do everything you want to do.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks. That was my question.
All right. Thank you, Sandy. All right, let's get going here. So this common law trust that we provide is designed to protect whatever assets it owns. And yes, I said it owns, not you. Once you exchange your assets into the trust, the assets belong to the trust. As trustee, you still manage and control those assets, but you don't own them. Hence, no one can take them from you. Most of you either have or are contemplating setting up a trust with us. Many of you have spoken to other providers and have told us they prefer our trust. The biggest reason for that is our trust gives you the ability to become your own trustee. Very simply, that means there is no one between you and your money. Also, our trusts are common law, which appears to be where our country is heading, as it was generations ago. Common law is alive and well in the U.S., and as I understand it, the global currency reset is about more than the money. If, as we've heard, NESARA and GESARA announced soon afterward, we will once again flourish under common law. As currency exchangers, we should not be worried about setting up statutory law entities when we will be under the Restored Republic common law after GESARA's announcement. We offer several different trusts for your asset protection needs. The first, or what we call the Motherlode Trust, will initially hold all the assets, whether it be the foreign currency or the money that is derived from your exchanges and redemptions. Your additional levels of protection come from the use of real estate trusts, vehicle trusts, investment trusts, charitable trusts, and management trusts, both for real estate and vehicles. And while you don't need all these trusts pre-RV, you'll most certainly want them post-RV. The question of purchasing property has come up a lot lately, actually in an email last night. While you can borrow money from your Motherlode Trust, it does require a loan or security agreements and payments of some kind. We feel the easier and cleaner way to do this is to have your Motherlode Trust create and fund real estate and vehicle trusts. The advantages of this are less paperwork, no payments, and the property is titled to the trust at the time of the purchase. We have recently been told that someone else said one trust cannot fund another trust without it being taxed. Now, while that may be true for some statutory trusts, it is not true for the contract trust, and we do have the expertise to do this. And many of you have your eyes on property now, but obviously cannot purchase it until the RV. We suggest that when you do purchase the property, you purchase it in the name of the trust that you wish to set up. I have personally done this purchasing cars and was not questioned about the trust or any trust documents. If you are entering into an escrow agreement for real property, You may also use your own name followed by and or assigns. That means when it does come time to close, one of your assigns could be your trust. We will try our best to have your real estate trust completed by the time your escrow closes. If you are planning on multiple pieces of real estate, you should consider a management trust to take care of all those expenses, so be sure to plan accordingly. The management trust simplifies some of the issues associated with multiple properties and multiple vehicles. Imagine 3 different real estate trusts, each owning its own property. One may be your primary residence, one may be a vacation home, one may be an apartment building, say with 12 units. They all require attention, being as maintenance, insurance, property taxes, collecting rents, etc. In this scenario, each real estate trust would have its own bank account to pay for these expenses and a repository account for the rental income. It could prove to be a big headache, wouldn't you agree? We have a solution and a way to simplify these issues. We suggest a management trust as a less complicated and convoluted way to handle these issues. A properly funded and prepared real estate management trust can simplify issues by contracting with individual real estate trusts. You can control the funds, disperse the funds, collect funds, much like an escrow account. It is responsible for all the issues related to property ownership. You will have one bank account with bank cards and checks to be used when appropriate. It can be managed online. Banking and accounting will obviously be less of a hassle. This trust, like most of your other trusts, will be funded by your Motherlode Trust. The same principle applies to multiple vehicles. Let's face it, cars do not require bank accounts or EINs, but they also require management, insurance, license, tax, inspection, maintenance, tires, etc. A vehicle management trust would contract with the individual vehicle trust to handle these chores from one bank account. This vehicle management trust would also be funded by your Motherlode Trust. Whether you are funding real estate, vehicle, or management trusts, we suggest you put enough money in it at the outset. It needs to have enough funds to cover taxes, insurance, maintenance, and the like for many years to come, so plan for it now. Jim, would you like to expand on this, please?
Sure. The management trust is like a large escrow company. It receives money and it disperses money. The money, in this case, as Carol's presenting, the money will probably be there in advance. So it would have the money in an account, and then when you have a bill due, you just pay it out of that account. And I do that with mine. And so I have a check system. I write checks and mail them out occasionally. Most of the stuff now is done digitally and online, just using a debit card. And then I just keep an accounting system. I use just an Excel spreadsheet. And every time I make a payment, I put it in my Excel spreadsheet of what I paid or what money I brought in. I just keep mine really, really simple. The key here is that the proper contracts between all of the trusts. So if you have a house trust that doesn't have an EIN number, which is not necessary, then you would simply have a contract between that trust and the management trust, explaining what the duties are and what the expectations are, and that has to be signed by the trustees of both trusts, which generally will probably be you. But you need this in writing. There's 2 reasons why you should have it in writing. 1, it's required. Number 2 is your successors have to know what you've done. So later on down the road, a few years from now, upon your demise, or if you have to retire for medical reasons, you have to have all of these contracts in there, and they have to be legible. They have to be understood that, okay, this is what you set up, and this is how we're going to continue managing this trust. And so all of these contracts are done in minutes, and we have them all prepared, and we're getting ready to send them out to those people that need them. And when you buy the trust, you let us know what type of trust is going to be managing for, and we submit all the minutes to you on all your trusts for you. So it's a real simple process. It's a little bit of a juggle setting it up. We do that for you. Then after that, it's a simple process. You have a trust. You have a bank account. It's a management company. It has the money in the account. It's delegated and designated for certain things, and you just use either the debit card or checks. When I write a check, I use a 2-part check, where the check's on top and the bottom is where you put all your details. And then I send it out that way. That's how I've been doing mine for years. I have, one management trust that manages virtually all of my business for me right now, the way I've set mine up. I'm reading our notes here. Okay, you can put as much money in the trust as you think is going to be necessary. So let's just say that you have a house. You want to put it in a trust. Well, the things you have to pay for in that house is insurance. You probably will own it free and clear. If not, you can get a mortgage on it. But you'll have insurance. You're going to have property taxes. You're going to have maintenance. You're going to have utilities. And you're going to have upkeep on the house. And you have to plan for replacing a furnace or a water heater or something that's attached to the house. And not the personal property of the house, such as a refrigerator. That's personal property. Washer and dryer, that's personal property. But you can buy those and actually rent them to the house. So that's another cash flow. There's a lot of things you can do on this. So it's kind of like when you have an apartment building. When John and I had ours, we had washing machines down there, and they were coin-opted. So that was cash flow. And then we just brought it into the account, and we ledgered it, and that was it. And just load the money in, load the money out. Rents were the same way. Sometimes we had expenses. Sometimes we had nothing but income in 1 month. So that's how these are set up. It's a very simple process to have one central entity control all of your expenditures and your income off of the properties. Same thing with the automobiles. Now, unfortunately, you can't do that with airplanes, which is my passion, because the government doesn't allow you to have an airplane in a trust. They want it in a corporation, or they can pierce it and hold you liable in case you have an issue with your airplane. What else do we want to talk about on that, Carol?
Well, you were going to explain a little bit about moving money between trusts. I mean, you talked about income, and that's fine, but what about moving money, say, out of the Motherlode into the management at some other point?
Okay. The way I do this is I have contracts, and I will loan money from the Motherlode Trust. In this case, I'll loan it, if it's necessary, to the management company on behalf of a real estate company. So that contract's really between the real estate company and the Motherlode company, and the Motherlode company then will pay per instructions to the management company for that. Now, that's a loan. Okay, now, the way I set mine up is a little bit different than most, is originally what I did is I funded a couple of my trusts in advance. Sold a place, put that money into my bank, then used that money, set up the trust, put that money in the trust, or dedicated the trust, and then I moved it to the management company on the contract. What we're looking at doing with this RV is I've dedicated some currency to these trusts that I'm getting ready to set up. I'm buying a house up north, and I'm buying a couple cars and a couple other things. So I've already dedicated some currency to those trusts. When I did the trust, I put the type of currencies in there. Then I loan that currency to the Motherlode Trust. And the job of the Motherlode Trust is to convert, exchange, I should say, that currency into Federal Reserve notes or Treasury notes, whatever we're going to have. And then it puts it into the management trust per the instructions in the agreement between my real estate trust, my Motherlode Trust, and the management trust. Now, you can, if you think that you need to have collateral, that's what the certificates of beneficial interest would be used for. I don't do it that way. You probably could or should, I don't know. It's all internal. Nobody's going to see this but you and your successors. But if it got to a point where it's a large amount of money, you could use your certificates of beneficial interest for collateral. In other words, if your Motherlode Trust is going to take all that currency, if for any reason you're nervous about that, the Motherlode Trust could issue some certificate of beneficial interest for the real estate trust to hold in the interim until the transaction is done. I don't see that as being necessary, but it could be done. So that's how I move my money. Comments, Carol?
Okay. Yeah, and I've got a similar situation. One of a good friend of mine and a client recently had a stroke, and she asked me if I could do her exchange for her. So I'm doing it just one of the ways that Jim just mentioned. So my Motherlode Trust is going to borrow whatever currency she has, and I'm going to back it up with 5 certificates from my Motherlode Trust. My Motherlode Trust is going to exchange her currency, and when I have exchanged it, I will give her back the appropriate amount of cash and get my certificate back. So it's pretty simple. It's
just like a corporation. You know, they use stock certificates all the time back and forth. And people have multiple corporations. They move the stock certificates back and forth for the collateral because they have to file certain documents to the government that we don't have to file. So, but, you know, if you're doing it internally, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're doing it externally, like what Carol was just talking about, then yeah, the certificates are necessary.
Okay. All right, we do have a question here.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay. Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Hey, Jim and Carol, this is Gary in Phoenix. I'm good, thank you. I have a question, Jim. If we have a, excuse me, I just got stuffed up as I answered the phone. If we have a real estate management trust or a vehicle management trust, should that be a non-interest-bearing account? Does it matter, or can it be an interest-bearing account?
I'm not prone to interest-bearing accounts at all for anything or anybody because when you do this, how does the bank make their money? They put your money at risk in a market. They make 10%, and they give you 1%. Now, remember, the way the banking situation is right now, when you make a deposit in the bank, you lose control of your money. All they got to give you back is common stock. Now, let me explain this. If it got so bad that they couldn't give you back your money and give you common stock, do you think that stock's worth anything? I don't think so. So I don't use banks that way. There's a lot better ways to, if you want an interest-bearing account, there's a ways to do this with market accounts. You can go to, I have a Ameritrade account, and I can put money in there, and I can loan it out to reputable organizations through them, and I get my money back. I've done it a few times. I haven't done much, but I've done it a few times, and I get a pretty good interest rate. But I don't like the bank using my money. If I'm really going to go out and try and make money on my money, I'm going to put my money to work the proper way. I'm going to go find some type of a good investment. Short-term, long-term, doesn't matter. But, no, I don't like the idea of having the bank because their reputation is not, we call them banksters for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's right.
If we set up our accounts for non-interest-bearing accounts, will that affect the amount that they give us in the RV or the redemption?
I don't think so. Okay. None of us know. We just don't know. It's kind of like we don't know what we don't know because we don't know what questions to ask, and besides that, we have nobody to ask yet.
Nobody's been there yet.
Yeah. But I would be leery of putting money. What's that?
He said thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was obvious.
I interrupted.
Yeah, that's how I would do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. We have anything else, Gary?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Jay.
Hi, guys. Let's say this thing happens tomorrow. I want 3 real estate trusts. I could get those without knowing the properties. Is that true? I could just order them and fill it in as to the the amount and the address and all that afterwards.
Yeah, you could purchase a name and whatever you want to name the trust for the real estate. And when it's time to purchase it, then you're going to put that information in the trust, the legal description, et cetera, et cetera. But you do not need the property first. Okay.
And in terms of management trust, were you suggesting one management trust or one per real estate trust? Or I guess you could have that, but I would rather minimize it.
Well, would you want one management trust for all of your real estate trusts, and maybe one management trust for all of your vehicle trusts?
I was thinking one management trust for everything, but what do you think? I know
you can do that. That's the way you want to set it up.
Yeah, but it's possible to only have one management trust to pay all the trusts, right? In terms of maintaining them and taxes and all.
Mm-hmm. No, that's why I got mine set up. I have just one trust that does everything for me, cars, real estate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It depends if you have a lot of something. You may want to have all your vehicles in a management trust, just a vehicle management trust, but I don't.
It's just I would just lease cars. That's another thing. I don't see any reason really. There's so many good cars that you can lease. I don't really for me personally, I don't see a reason to ever own a car. You know, get the latest technology every 2-3 years. What's wrong with that? You know.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand if somebody's classic cars and such, but you know, I would think. So, what would be the best way to do that? Could you still have leased cars under some kind of trust protection, or is that?
Well, you don't own the car. The lease could be to the management trust. Well, actually, you should put separate trusts together for that. That would lease all your cars. They could, be one trust that leases, does nothing but leasing cars and equipment.
Okay.
And then you could use a management trust to cut the checks. But you're going to have some qualifiers. We're going to be qualified in your name. Predominantly, when you do a lease car, they won't put it into a corporation. I don't know if they'll put it into a trust. I've not tried that yet. Nobody's ever brought that up. But you personally going to have to qualify for the lease. So that's and then of course it's going to be in your name and not the trust name. That's my classic car. I have an old Dodge pickup that's pretty cool. It's in an individual trust, and I take care of it with that.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be like a corporation leasing it? I mean, I think that's done all the time. Corporations, if you have an S corp, you can lease a car under it and deduct it. And isn't it the same thing?
The only difference between a corporation and a trust in this case is the fact that everybody understands a corporation. Hardly anybody understands a trust. Yeah. So you're going to have to explain it and work with them to get them to accept it. I don't think that'll be a problem. You're just going to have to do a little work with them.
Yeah.
And I think it'll work. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions right now? Well, apparently not. So a while back, one of our clients suggested investing the money from their trust as a way to keep the trust self-sustaining. That's not such a good idea, as it may put the principal at risk. A better idea is to use an investment trust where you can limit what goes into it and potentially avoid or curtail any losses due to your investment. Jim, you want to talk about that? Because you've mentioned that quite often.
Yeah. Anytime that I'm going to invest my money, I'm going to have a trust that's going to be the investor, and I'm going to put it in different accounts. That's why I have my Ameritrade account set up. I've already used a trust in that years ago. In fact, when I was living up in Seattle, I had that set up. And they didn't have a problem with it at all. In fact, they liked it. You can take that account and you put X amount of dollars in there, and you can diversify that. You can have some in this account over here. Say that my Ameritrade account I'm investing in, which at that time I was investing in gold and silver and stuff like that. And then I can go over to another company and invest some money into some real estate stocks or something like that, like a REIT, real estate investment trust, which is not our type of trust, but it's a REIT. You can invest some money in that. You can do some crypto. You can, it's anything you want to invest in. You can have an entity that does that, and then the money that comes in is profit. If you don't do it right, you got to pay taxes, capital gains, so on and so forth. But that's okay because you'll have plenty of write-offs on this program. So that's how I've done it in the past. And notice, folks, I'm only telling you about things I've done because I'm not an accountant or a CPA or anybody that has a license for doing this stuff. This is how I've run my life. I'm giving you my life experience, what I've actually done. And it works. And I can't tell you things that don't work because everything so far I've told you is stuff that I've been successful with, and it does work. And they don't have any issue at all with paying interest and profits to a trust.
That's great. That's great. Well, we don't have any other callers, and I don't have a whole lot more to say here. So you want to ad-lib for a little while?
Well, I can go over some of the things that we've been doing the last 3 or 4 days here that we've had a couple issues come up with clients.
Okay.
And one of the things is the Cheyenne, Wyoming debacle has been coming up a lot lately. And that's where some of our customers were going up there and getting their mail dropped in Wyoming, and all of a sudden it got closed down overnight. And we've had to get another one. Fortunately, we already had one set up in Evanston for everybody, and people can go with that mail drop. They seem to be very, very good. And the form is an 8822B. And on our website, if you go to the website and you go to the Tools tab, and second from the bottom, it says change your domicile address of your trust. And then when you click on that thing, we've got the form. It's a fillable form. You can fill it out and print it out. And then I also have a sample form there that I've done, so you can see how to fill it out. And then you just simply send it. You must send that thing return receipt requested and certified. And the reason you do that is because this is simply an administrative change. But that the postmark of that is the actual date of the change of address. And that's why you want that green card. You want to know they got that. You want that certification knowing that it is certified. It was sent on this day. Effectively, the moment that is certified and you walk out of the post office with that receipt, you can technically say that this address now is this. We had a customer give us a wrong post box, and we did all the paperwork. And now we just simply have to do the change. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no fee to the government to do this. So all I have to do now is I got all the information from the old box, and I got the information from the new box. I'll fill out the form, but she has to sign it. I'll fill out the green card. I'll fill out the certified mail card. I'll put it in an envelope. I'll ship it all to her. All she has to do is sign it, put it in the envelope that I've already supplied, take it to the post office. They'll put the green card on there for her. She pays the $3 or $4 or $5 for that, and it's done. It's done. It's that simple. But that's one of the biggest issues is people want to change the domicile address. Even if you change it from your home address, like if you're in a non-tax state like Texas, and you decide, well, I really don't want people to know where I live. So you go to a mail drop. You have to fill a form for every one of your trusts that you move over there. There's no fee to do that. It's just a little bit of paperwork. And we have it all on the website. You can do it in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes per trust.
Oh, that's great.
So,
okay, we do have a couple of calls now.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We have a wireless caller. Area code 828, wireless caller.
Yes, ma'am. This is Jim in North Carolina.
Hi, Jim.
Jim, tell me if I'm heading down the right road here, and maybe I'm behind the curve. It was my understanding. It's a business trust, so I have the Motherlode as a business trust, and it's my understanding that it needs to have a stated business. And the question that has always come up is, how do I do the business, but yet also do some things that I like to do and maybe incorporate it into that? So I'm just wondering, you just mentioned something about a lot of deductions. Say I have I want to invest in real estate. Well, maybe if I fly my plane to some state and visit with a real estate agent, that's great. But what if I want to just take a trip on my own and not do any business? That falls into personal problems with, money that I'm spending for myself. Therefore, I have a tax event. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and let me explain to you right now. You'll never, ever go anywhere without doing any business. You need to do business. Even if you give out a business card, pick up a business card someplace. You go buy somebody lunch. You keep that receipt. Now that is a business trip. You got to learn, and it changes every year or so. You got to just look at the IRS thing and say, what's deductible, what's not deductible, and just keep that in mind, because every place I go, even when I'm out on the weekend, I'd like to go driving on the weekends because that's how I clear my head. I generally will stop into a store, talk to somebody. I may go look at real estate, stop by a real estate place and say, hey, what do you got for raw land around here that's for sale? And I may look at it and talk to them, and I say, well, I'm not really interested in that, but give me your card just in case. That's a business trip. So that fuel to go on that trip just became a deduction. So I always do that. I'm always doing business. So everybody needs to get in the mode of always doing business. Now, you don't have to spend an hour or two. Just when you got your family with you, just stop by and say, well, give me a brochure on that real estate over there. I'm kind of just curious, and give me your business card. It's right off.
Okay, so then you would need the broadest, most for lack of a better word, vague interpretation of what your business is. So all kind of things qualify. Would that be correct?
That's what I do. And you were saying that you've got to designate what the trust is for. It's a business trust. And the management trust is a management trust. So my basic trust is a business trust. Everything goes through my business trust, my primary trust. Not my Motherlode Trust, my business trust. And it's a business trust. I'm always looking to do business. I'm a businessman. And so now if I decide I want to buy something, well, then I will then contract to another trust that I may create if I don't already have one set up. And all those expenses to get there will be part of that expenditure. I would sell that, for lack of a better term, tax deduction to that other trust, because now I moved that whole idea to another trust. If I'm going to go buy a house, for example, I'm out and about, driving around, and I see something I want to buy, a house, be a possible rental. Well, my expenses while I was there was in my business trust, going there and back. Then I set up a real estate trust. That in itself is an expense. It's a business expense. Then I go ahead and I buy the house, and I fund the trust off my Motherlode or off my business trust. I fund the real estate trust, and then I do the and/or signs, do the earnest money, and then I go through the process and get the house inspected. All those fees are deductible. You do the whole thing, and then you put the house in the trust. And then when you do that process, your business trust has the deduction for setting that up, has the deduction for you to investigate, and then also has the deductions for the price of the trust because it's going to fund the second trust for the house. It's just like running a series of corporations when it comes to the taxes, just like it. So most people use corporations or LLCs. Okay, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same. And remember, we will have wealth managers shortly, right after the RV, and they will help set this up. All you have to do is provide them with the vehicle, in other words, the trust. They'll help you. That's their job.
Okay.
You're going to be paying them a lot of money. It's usually about $50,000 a year is what the average fee is for these wealth managing companies. And they'll take care of all this stuff, and they will take care of all your deductions. They will guide you with all your deductions. They'll keep you current on what's deductible and what's not, because it changes every year.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Okay. That helps a lot. Do the initial funding of a trust, does that create a tax event for the trust?
No, it doesn't, because it actually is a tax event. I mean, it's a tax deduction because it had to build this new entity. It's investing into this new entity, and now all the expenses of that investment are deductible. So let's say that, just grabbing a number off the top of my head, let's say that you want to create a real estate trust, and you end up spending, with expenses getting it set up, say it's $2,000. Now, remember, the one of your trusts is going to be the investor or the creator of that trust, and you're going to set this thing up. I'm sorry, the investor. And you're going to set this thing up. Well, any of that money is deduction to the trust that set it up. So in this case, it would be the business trust. So anytime you have income, you have a liability of taxes. Well, that's how you do this, just like a corporation. This is all going to be done post-RV, and I assure you, you'll have a team that will take care of 90% of this. But you need to be knowledgeable so you can govern these people. And everybody, this is to everybody. Don't blindly follow these people. I mean, I'm a phenomenal researcher, and I check everybody and everything out. And you just have to make sure they're giving you the right information. And that's on your shoulders, not their shoulders.
Okay. You mentioned an airplane, which is my hot button. So I want to get a plane. I want to fly it all over the place and, of course, use it for business. You mentioned something about that it cannot be put into a trust. How do you solve that problem?
You can put depends if you got more than one person, you can put a limited partnership, or you can put an LLC. You can actually put it in a corporation. But the issue is if there's ever a failure on the airplane and you crash it, who's liable? Well, the trust is an entity. It's not an individual, and it can't be pierced. It's irrevocable. So they won't let you do that. They'll put it in a corporation so they can pierce the corporate veil and come after everything else you got. So that's why they won't let you do that. They got to know who owns that aircraft. They don't let
you said everything else. That isn't in trust, though, right? I mean, because you don't own anything, theoretically.
Exactly. Yeah, and so they can't get anything except for the corporation that the aircraft is in. I'm hot on airplanes, too. I used to fly a bunch of the dang things. And right now I'm looking at a Cessna Caravan on amphibs for my new residence is on a lake. So that'll be my way out to town and around. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
2.2 million with non-amphibs. So come on, RV. I want my plane.
Yeah, really. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, that does, Carol. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, Rob, you're up.
Jim and Carol?
Yes.
Yep.
Hey, Rob here, and just a little off, but on the subject here, I was just kind of asking you, has the VND or the IQD, rather, and the VND, is it kind of drying up here? And also, is the price going up? Every once in a while, I'll go and check, and I'll on some websites just to see how things are going, and I'm seeing that the price has been going up, and they don't have any.
Yeah, everything I've seen is all dried up. There's nothing available. There's nothing available.
Okay, so what does that indicate? Does that indicate anything? I mean, is it because we're in this pandemic, and is that the reason why, or is it something else that it is?
No, it's the obvious. We're on the verge of this thing happening probably this week, because you can't buy currency. I got a call from one of the currency traders that I worked with years ago yesterday, wanted to confirm my email address, but they wouldn't talk to me too much about that. We just want to make sure we can get a hold of you, which simply told me, folks, that they're getting ready to send out these 800 numbers, and they want to be party to it. And they're confirming that I am still where I'm at. My email address is the same. So, and I'm not going to disclose who it was because I don't want anybody calling them. But, yeah, I got that call yesterday. So that's the first time I've talked to those people in 5 years.
Wow.
And then I do, my business is, I was using another company. Well, he doesn't take any new clients, so I'll just tell you it's cheapest Dinar. And he's not selling any currency anymore. So, and I talked to him on Thursday. So, anyway.
And who's this? Who's this? Did you say? Or did you?
It was a company called. He's not doing any business anymore. It's called Cheapest Dinar, and he's.
Okay. So he's not. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I talked to him on Monday, and I talked to him on Thursday. So he's pretty much done. So,
because that's what I've been wondering. It appears that this must be getting really close if everything's drying up, or is there another reason?
No, I think it's. I don't see any other reason. I mean, it's just paper. I mean, you can throw that in the mail and you ship it all over the place. So I don't see without the virus causing any grief there. It's not like you have to go to the store to get it and to ship it to you. So.
I thought for some reason I thought it was that they couldn't get it from Iraq.
Well, probably so, because Iraq doesn't want it out there because they're getting ready to they're one of the first ones to do an RV. And they all are going to do it simultaneously, basically. And we're hearing a lot of rumors. But again, folks, we don't know. As I've said many times, we've never even talked to a government agency. There's been nobody in my time I've been in this has never confirmed this is even real. We hear all this stuff. We talk to these currency dealers and traders. They're going to tell you yes, obviously. But I've never seen a document from any government agency that says this is actually real. This can make Bernie Madoff look like a kindergartner.
Really?
Oh yeah. And what about the VND? Is that the same thing?
I don't know. I haven't tried to buy any. I got some a week ago. I bought a bunch and put it on my TransferWise card. I bought 3 million. That was to be 10 days ago. 10 days ago. I got it 10 days ago. But I haven't tried to buy anything.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, the best
Same
place
thing with
if you
the.
want to find out, if you want to find out about the V&D, just simply call AAA. AAA Travel, AAA, everybody's got AAA card for the car. They're a travel agency. They sell currency. Just call them and ask them. That's usually, they don't sell IQD, but they do sell V&D. Originally, that's where I bought most of my V&D, was through AAA. They were the cheapest in town. They got it in 48 hours. Not a big deal. And then I started using the TransferWise card instead. It's cheaper there. But if you want to know if it's available, just call AAA Monday morning. Call them and say, hey, you got any V&D available? Can you check and make sure you can get it for me? You don't have to go buy it. Just call and ask.
Yeah. Okay. I just got a call. Just same thing with the Indonesia.
Don't know. I mean, I've got some Indonesia rupiah. I haven't bought any. And the last time I bought any of that was in December. So I don't know. But I do know that.
I just kind of curious. That's all. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then I've talked to 3 or 4 people those last 4 days that have said, well, I tried to buy some more currency at the last minute. Nobody sold it to me. I know. So that's what we've been hearing.
Wow. Okay. I guess we're getting closer. Yeah. Thanks, Carol and Jim.
Thank you, Rob.
Great.
Okay.
I guess everybody better get out their go to exchange suit and iron it and get it ready. Polish them shoes.
There you go. There you go. Okay, we've got one more caller here, Jim.
Sure.
Okay,
Right.
Good morning, Bob, or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Oh, good afternoon, yes. Hope you can hear me all right. We've got generators because power outages here, so...
Oh, no, fine.
Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, a couple subjects that are just in the last couple calls here. And I have personal experience with Exchange of America. For about a month, they were out of basically all IQD currency. And I haven't really looked at VND, so I'm not talking about that. But as far as the IQD, like I said, a month they were out. And then Wednesday, I noticed they had it in stock, but it was just 25K notes. So I put in a little order. By Thursday, they were out of stock again. They had both uncirculated and circulated of the 25K notes. So I put in my order, and within 2 days, their stock had diminished. So anyone, keep on checking with them. They're down in Florida, so that's my first little story. The second one, with regard to the Wyoming Trust or Wyoming mailboxes, I was the one, if you remember, I was the first one that discovered accidentally that she was gone. So I checked, I found her neighbors all around. I called, are they out of business or not? And she was mad at me. She finally got a hold of me. She was mad at me for calling her neighbors. So, but in any case, everything was fine. I submitted the change of address with the IRS back in February, this was. And I never received anything back from them. And of course, I didn't do the return, the certified letter like Jim's talking about. So I was waiting for them to send me proof that I had submitted it, and I heard nothing. I tried to call them, and of course they weren't answering their phones even. It was always a recording for like 2 months straight. I finally got a hold of somebody and asked if they had gotten my change of address, and they said no, they had not gotten it. So I gave it to them over the phone, and she said, just to make sure, call back in about 3 more weeks, which I did, and that was early part of this week. I called back, and I said, I asked them if they had the change of address, and they said, yes, we do. And I asked them, could you please send me a copy of that so that I have it for my records? Oh, we can't do that. The department is closed or, out sick or whatever their excuse was. But they said they couldn't do it. And I said, well, can you email it to me? No, we can't do that either. So they said, do you have a fax at home? I said, no, I don't, but if I can go into town, but it would probably take me an hour to get there. They said, oh, well, you'll have to call back. And keep in mind, every time I called, it was at least a 45-minute wait. Generally, it was if you didn't get the recordings all the way. If they did answer the phone, it was a 30 to 60-minute delay. And then, one, I accidentally hung up after being on hold for an hour. So I've gone through the whole process. But just yesterday, I went to my UPS store here. I called from there, and I was on hold for close to an hour again. Finally got through because they said you had to be there physically to get the fax. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So I had to be there at the store. So I finally got that, got it pushed through, and I said, well, I would have appreciated, if you guys could have just mailed me confirmation. They said, no, we can't. That department is closed. So for whatever reason, anyone that submitted the change, that's what you have to go through. You have to call the business IRS number I think it's in Utah, and you just got to wait it out, and you got to be close to a fax, and just hang in there. And finally, they sent me the half page that I needed. So that's the short. That's the short story.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me, and that's why I've had basically the same thing. That's why I started using the green card return receipt requested with certified mail, because then it's on their shoulders to prove that they didn't do it if there's a problem, not your shoulders. And
right.
So the card you get back, somebody stamps it. They don't know what they're doing. They just stamp it. But the IRS is getting extremely hard to deal with and very hard to get a hold of. We've gone through this a lot lately. So if you use the green card, now, again, make sure that you copy the letter, copy it, you sign it, and then you make a photocopy of it. And, of course, photocopy the receipt, green card receipt, and the certified mail receipt. Photocopy those so you've got those in your possession, and probably just the envelope also. And then stuff it in there and take it to the post office. They'll stamp it, and then they'll give you back that part of the certified mail that's got a little rubber stamp round thing on it, certifying it was mailed. That goes in there with all those copies I suggest you make. Put it in your file. And technically, whatever the IRS says is not relevant, because technically you've done everything you do. It's an administrative change only, and they don't need any more information than that. And then you take that with you. If you're going to go to the exchange and you have the old box on your EI number, for an example, old address, take that paperwork with you, and that'll prove that you've already made the change. That's why you have to have that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I wish I would have listened to you the first time on it.
Yeah.
So,
I really appreciate
okay, that's all I had.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
I really appreciate that caller bringing that up, because that is something very, very important, is we have to do this in a proper method to get it valid. So I'll make sure that our website reflects all of those steps. I think it does, but I'll make sure.
Okay, cool. Well,
Remember
some of you...
Wait.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Remember, folks, the 10 most devastating or 12 most devastating words you'll ever hear in your life are, I'm from your government, and I'm here to help you. And, just run when you hear it. But the IRS right now is almost impossible to get a hold of, as he explained. They won't do anything. Anyway,
haven't they been absorbed by Treasury?
They have, and I think they're going through the transition. I wasn't going to say that, but I'm glad you brought it up. I think they're going through a transition, and I think that they're going to be only around for a short term, and then we're going to go to a different type of tax system, and then they'll be obsolete when it comes to that. So
I think that'll be a happy day for a lot of people. That's for sure. Well, we're talking about this lack of being able to buy more currency, how close this may be. I have read several things. One of the things I read this morning is Tuesday will probably be our 800 number day. It was supposed to have been this weekend, But because of all the Antifa stuff going on and people being rounded up, they convinced the Chinese to give them a few more days. So right now it does appear that it will be Tuesday. You know, like many of you, we have heard that, some of you have asked if we will publish the 800 numbers when they do come out. While we cannot post numbers, we will send an email blast so they are out, as well as a short list of websites that will publish them. Most of you will probably get the email. From what I read, there's, 537,000 emails going out. So, like many of you, we have heard that we must have a trust when we exchange, so we urge you to be prepared. Typical turnaround time right now is less than a week, but we expect it to be considerably longer post-RV. Our contract trusts are well priced at only $19.95 for new clients and $16.95 for additional trusts or family members. We also offer 20% referral fee for any fully paid new trust. And, you know, many of you have asked if Jim and I will be around, post-RV. Well, we're all ready to retire. Jim and I will be here to take care of your trust needs for about 6 months post-RV. We personally, like the rest of you, will need to set up, it takes some time to set up bank accounts, or take care of our exchanges, interviewing wealth managers, etc., etc. Our staff will be on board considerably longer than that. Our staff will not be able to answer your trust and RV questions, not because they don't want to, but because they are word processors and they won't be able to. So if you haven't begun your trust planning yet, we urge you to do so as soon as possible. Being prepared is far better than waiting to get prepared. And I would have to say it's about it for today. Jim, do you have any? Thank you for your assistance. Do you have anything to add? Jim? Hello, Jim. Well, Jim just went away. Oh, yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. All right. Must be the cheap bugs they have on our phones from China.
Must be.
I was saying that while we were chatting here, I just got an email from Ameritrade wanting to verify my email address.
Okay.
I don't know what that's about yet, but I'll respond to it. So, because I have bought, I traded some currency with them. Come think about it, I did way back when. Well, that's interesting. Come thinking about it, even Ameritrade might be involved in this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, the only thing else I want to add is I too have got some information just early this morning that looks like Tuesday will be our day. And one of the things that they said to me or sent to me was the biggest challenge has been some of our exchange centers are right downtown cities, downtown these cities where they're under the control of Antifa. They don't want us to be going in and around those areas. So until they get that cleaned up, they're actually moving some of these exchange centers out of the downtown area to other places this weekend. So that's what I heard today, actually early this morning. So that could be one of the reasons. But anyway, that's why I'm hearing the same thing, basically.
Yeah. Do you want to add your contact info?
Sure. I will be around post-RV, and you can call me even right after this happens because I'll probably take calls. But I'm going to give you my 800 number today, folks, so you can get hold of me easier. It's 866-341-6907. That's 866-341-6907. And when you have questions, call us. I'll take care of you. Other than that, have a great week, and hopefully we have an RV by the next time we chat. It'll be over with.
Hopefully.
Carol?
So thanks to all of you for your time and attention. If the RV does occur this soon, as we have heard, we will be back in a few weeks, but we will let you know by an email blast when that occurs. And my name is Carol Werelius. My numbers are 425-820-8090 or 877-333-5018. I'm available between 10 and 6 Central Time, and the best way to reach me is by email, which is info@indicatorinformation.com. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe a blessed and prosperous one for us all. Go RV. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.